Hello everyone, it is I, Ryan, also known as the Lovebat, and I'm here to go ahead and bring you my next episode in this journey through this game, Pathfinder Kingmaker. And so far it's been an interesting journey to say the least, and last episode we ended up taking care of the area on the surface of the old Sycamore big tree. It's hard to describe what Old Sycamore is, but it's like a landmark, a very large tree, and there's a tribe of kobolds and mites who each make residence here, and they're kind of embroiled in a bit of a war or a conflict that's recently been brought on, because basically what's happened up to now is that we've been tracking the movements of someone who's half of a rival and then half of just a villain, called Tartuccio, who we've been kind of dealing with since the beginning of the game, but he's been revealed to be Tartuk, a kobold shaman type character. And so he ended up doing some things, I imagine, which caused a civil war to break out between some mites and some kobolds. The kobolds pointed their finger at the mites and said, hey, they stole this sacred relic. And the mites were like, we aren't stupid, we didn't steal any relic, they just being dumb. And so they were pointing the finger at each other. We decided to side with the mites because, or at least Alyrra here decided to go ahead and side with the mites because, I mean, they were the ones that were being accused of stealing a relic, which she believes that they probably didn't steal under the circumstances. And so she's like, they didn't do anything wrong, so stop fighting. They didn't want to hear it, though, as far as stopping fighting. We did end up finding some NPC sorts of kobolds and mites that were like, oh, we're not interested in the war, we just want to, be in peace and live and let live, keep trading, doing all the cool stuff, right? Because they used to be semi-allies where they would trade with each other and stuff, according to some of the NPCs we spoke to. But ever since Tartuk came back here and caused all this, or ended up leading to all this ruckus being caused, now the mites and the kobolds have been at odds of each other, and they ended up fighting a bunch. Last episode, some encounters happened, which the mites ended up winning pretty handedly, and we took part in some of those. Even without our assistance, though, I think the mites probably still would have won most of those battles that we were in. But it wasn't anything too threatening. The most threatening battles were against like wolves and animals and some bandits that we encountered, which really took a lot off of our life total because Lindsay was trying to go ahead and deal with a trap, and she ended up setting off the trap, which ended up waking up the bandits, and then the jig was up and it made the fight a lot tougher than it should have been. But we ended up getting through. We are overloaded here, as you can see, but that's not going to be much of an issue for now. The bigger issue is that we are mostly out of healing, and we are going to probably have to go back to the surface and rest soon, so we don't have to use rations to rest. I think as long as we rest on the surface, then we can rest okay and hunt for rations. But if you want to go ahead and rest underground, you will be forced to use rations. I don't think that we're carrying any rations, so if you want to rest, we're going to have to go back to the surface to do that. But, I mean, it doesn't take that long to just go back to the surface aside from a loading screen, so. And yeah, so we don't have any rations with us because they take up a good bit of weight, and there's not much point to doing that when you can just rest and hunt for the rations most of the time. So one thing that I've been debating was whether or not I wanted to go ahead and read some of these like journal entry things or some of these random books or notes that we find laying out and about. And I decided that it might just be a good idea to go ahead and do things that maybe are pertinent to things that we encounter on the map. We're not exactly going to read all of the random books that we find that don't really seem pertinent to us or anything that's going on the map or any like corpses that we find. But things that we find that seem relevant to, again, a corpse, someone who died, or that lonely, shambling mound that we found out there, that it might do some good to go ahead and just go ahead and read it instead of debating whether or not I'm going to do it. So we'll go ahead and read through the lab journal first, which is for the, I believe it was there was a woman out there that we found on the surface of the old sycamore tree, and she was near a shambling ghast, or some sort of shambling mound. It was a lonely shambling mound, I believe, is what the name of it was. So one moment here, and I'll get a quick swig of a drink, and then I will go into reading this lab journal that she left behind for us. Alright, and now here we are, and we are going to read the journal. Went into the woods, found many roots, pine cones, flowers, and a dead squirrel. Scant little I can make of that. I must consider where I might gain rarer ingredients for my experiments. ... Some damnable raccoons got into the hut while I was exploring the woods. Broke all the glassware. The only things left are 10 flat-bottomed glass tubes, 5 round-bottomed flasks, a couple porcelain mortars, 3 pestles, and the precious spiral. A good thing all the pots are still there. So many good chemicals wasted. Shame. Need to lock everything up in the closet. ... Tried to finish the experiment today, the one I started at the old lab. Used the lead powder from the master's box. At the crystallization stage, the liquid foamed, changed color, and formed a deposit. Another unsuccessful experiment, and I've all but exhausted my supply of essential materials. ... Caught a raccoon with a snare trap. Didn't get the bastard to the hut in time. Perhaps I should ask some hunters for help in catching experimental subjects? But I must save money, and besides, I see how those bumpkins scowl at me, as if I'd grown horns. ... Third attempt at the crystallization experiment. Broke the last round bottom flask. I recall my tutor calling me ham-handed and making me clean up. Perhaps he was right. But he did teach me much, despite everything. But why didn't he wish me to develop my abilities? Didn't he want me to learn anything beyond the basic potion recipes? Kept saying I wasn't ready, this and that. But in truth he feared the student surpassing the teacher, and for good reason. I shall prove this process works. I'll prove it to everyone. ... Today an old lady came from the nearby village, asking me to make her goats yield more milk. I had to help. I'm in desperate need of money. Oh, why must I spend my time so... ... Boring. Several pages remain empty. Then the writings continue. Observation, Day 1. I finally got a chance I can't miss. I found a dying elf in the woods. She was barely breathing, and ants were swarming all over her. Who is she? What happened to her? It matters not. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. With great effort I managed to drag her to the hut, remove her clothes, and hide her behind the bags in the corner. Enough wasting my talents on trifles. It's time for action. Use the largest glass tube from the master's box, the one with the warning. In case of contact with skin, wash off immediately. Ha! The doddering parrot of all standard warnings. I spread it evenly over her body and began my observations. Observation Day 3. The subject has survived. Had to tie her up and gag her. The moaning could attract unwanted attention. Her skin is changing, but it's hard to determine the precise character of these changes. The early stages of festering, perhaps? The treated areas do smell faintly. Observation Day 5. The changes continue, faster and faster. The epidermis has festered away, the joints are grown swollen, tough and calloused, and the subject has a fever. Observation Day 9. Over the past few days, the subject's legs became covered with mildew and moss. Her fingers and toes grow long and crooked, as though she would grow into the ground. I shall move the subject outside. The experiment now demands sunlight. Observation Day 13. The body's changes are so significant, it's impossible to recall the creature's original appearance from the way it looks now. A seething growth covers the whole body's surface. Every day I find new kinds of moss, mildew, grass, and other plants. The subject attempts to move. Had to immobilize her. I try to make contact, but she utters inarticulate sounds like the howling. Might intelligence be restored at a further stage of regeneration? Observation Day 18. The subject has grown larger several times. She is now strangely quiet these last few days. I'm beginning to worry. In the end, I see I've become attached to her. She will make me famous. Observation Day 25. My living experiment shows all signs of obedience. She is much like a little tree, a magnificent walking tree. She is already 8 feet tall, and the child keeps growing. I wish to give her space, more fresh air and sunlight. I suspect we shall need some fertilizer. For now, I only walk her around the woods on a leash. This is the greatest achievement of my career. Soon we'll be ready for a journey to Absalom, and there I will present my masterpiece. I must think of a name for my girl. And that is the end of the lab journal of the woman that we found on the surface of Old Sycamore, and next to a lonely, shambling mound, which was previously an elf that was performed experiments on, and then the woman who performed said experiments ended up dying, like we can assume was probably a horrible death. A sad end, but at some point we'll go up to the surface, and when we're at a more appropriate level, we'll put the mound out of its misery, so that way we don't have to, or at least so they don't have to worry about living like that anymore. And let's see, there was something else that I found. Yeah, here it is. A crumpled letter. We found this on a dead body outside. I think it wasn't too far away from the bandits that we encountered last time. My dear Kenneth Plamer, with your desire to pursue a new archaeological mission in mind, I spent a few hours in my library today and identified a location worthy of your research. In the northeastern part of the River Kingdoms lies a region called the Stolen Lands. Many antiquities can be found in such places. No doubt an inquisitive researcher would be able to find old coins, significant cultural remnants, and even pieces of artifacts that might be restored. Naturally, you shall require the services of a specialist to evaluate your findings during your travels. I've no doubt of your ability to recruit such a specialist once you arrive in the Stolen Lands. Such contacts can typically be made in large cities or settlements. You would not want your journey encumbered with items of scant value or interest, after all. Before you set off, it is my obligation to warn you that this place is untamed and can be perilous. Watch not only for bandits and monsters, but also impassable swamps and dangerous open plains. Should you decide to visit the Stolen Lands, I strongly urge you, Kenoth, to hire a professional guide, and better yet, guards. It is wise to take precautions. I would appreciate it greatly if you return with a few amusing curiosities for me, as a token of our friendship. Your true friend, Agneth Bregan, who is now dead, as we found their body outside on the surface. And so with that, we have read the two notes, remnants, journals that we found last session that I perhaps wanted to read at the end of the session, but I forgot to. But now, for now, I'll just go ahead and read them when I find them, if they seem pertinent to something that we found, like, again, a corpse, some body, a journal of some kind that seems relevant. There are random books that you can find that are just selling fodder and lore value as far as maybe understanding Pathfinder lore a bit better, perhaps, or just background information. But things like this we'll occasionally read, and this particular letter does present some mechanical significance because it gives the player, or a new player, hints that you'll be able to find random antiquity type things like coins that we found, like these, and then pieces of artifacts like this broken arrow or the fragment of a necklace. This crumpled letter makes hints to those sorts of things that you can find if you look for them, and that the stolen lands will end up containing lots of these things that you can look for and find. So it's a good idea to, according to this letter, to keep an eye out for those things. Alright, and I think with that, we are ready to go ahead and get started with this adventuring day. We are a bit low on health, so we're going to have to be careful here, but Valerie has a decent amount of health. Okay, and right now we're making quick work of the centipedes, so they're not very difficult to fight. They tend to go down in 1 or 2 hits. And we'll go ahead and swap to a ranged weapon for Amiri again, because a composite longbow still deals good damage, and she has a halfway decent dexterity for it. Anytime I come across a long, thin path here, I just feel like it's just a good time to save the game, because you just do not have any idea what you're going to encounter. It seems that someone, or something, tried to gnaw through the frames, sometimes successfully. Yep. Interesting. And it looks like there's some eggs there of some kind. I wonder if it's the centipedes, or something like that. I guess some of these centipedes are friendly because of the mites, perhaps. And then other ones are, I guess, are more feral or wild. And there's our animal companion coming from nowhere to greet us. And there's some like really tiny centipedes there, which I guess aren't really big enough to really present any combat challenge. So let's see, we have some mites over here. We have more centipedes that I guess are wild and don't like us, so I guess we might as well just take care of them now. Yeah, as long as we're fighting defensively, we should have a halfway decent AC on Harim and Valerie. Valerie will have a super high AC, but Harim's should be halfway decent as far as him not getting hit and being struck down every other hit or every other attack. Looks like we found something over here. Shocking Grasp. Interesting. So that's a first level spell. Not sure if we're going to be using that at all, but at the very least we could go ahead and sell it. A coin. Yeah, there are a number of things, maybe spells or maybe certain kinds of gear that won't be all that useful for you. I think we saw a Gate Master up here. We might be pertinent to go ahead and talk to them before we go any further. Kind of avoided this direction here, so maybe we should talk to him first before going off elsewhere. Gatekeeper Quaggy. I don't know how you pronounce that, but we'll go ahead and talk to him all the same. Daisy, come! Good girl. The gatekeeper notices you and her face lights up. She turns away from her pet centipede. Greeting, ally. You come. Warrior Queen Bada awaits you. The gatekeeper sighs in delight. Queen Beauty as little centipede. What lies ahead? Hole under old sycamore. Here live might and our animal. Careful, some animals still wild. Their deep hole, very dangerous. Up was kobold passage, but now it broken. Kobold drop stones, we lift bridge, no passage. Sad. Rich chest lie passage. Big treasure, all lost now. Yeah, interesting. So I guess they had paths that I guess they traded with, because that's what the mice on the surface told us, is that they used to trade and do things like that, be semi-allies, and now they just have broken off contact and ways to be able to travel to each other and communicate with each other as they are in conflict. Do you know where the kobold shaman Tartuk is now? Shaman Purplehide? No, not. He run our hole, throw magic. Queen chase him, queen know where he. Okay, so he's... I guess he might have been the one that made the... I don't know if he had anything to do with, again, clogging up the passages or whatever, but he threw magic around and he was chased off, I guess. How do I get to this broken passage? Lower bridge bad. Kobold run away on bridge. The gatekeeper thinks for a while. Ally make trade, yes? You want passage? I want pretty helmet. You go lower passage deep. There lie big dead spider. Our great warrior hero mount it until die. Bring me this bug jaw. I give you lever for bridge. You take chest with loot. I make helmet of spider. Sweet! Alright, so we have a little side quest here. We need to go ahead and find the jaw of a spider, or mandibles, and then they can use that to make a helmet that they so desire. Another scroll of shocking grasp that we're probably just going to sell, because I imagine we don't have anyone that's going to want to use that. More centipedes, but these aren't too difficult to beat, so... Let's see, I guess there's no perception checks over here to be made. Alright, more centipedes to worry about. And I imagine that we shall quickly dispose of them. We'll take care of this one since it's the closest. The closest to being able to disengage and go after our back line is sometimes the one I try and target first, because they tend to try and loop around to your frontliners if there's not a more clear path to them. I don't know why they don't try and, if their AI is intent on trying to go to backliners first, I'm not sure why they don't try to run around them and then kind of flank around to the back line. Would probably make more sense, but sometimes that's just the way that it goes. I guess AI can't be perfect, but you know, I mean, maybe there might be a mod out there that maybe improves the AI a bit, like they've done with Baldur's Gate over the years, but I wouldn't be familiar with such a mod, unfortunately. Or if there's enough of a fan base to do a mod for like that. So I guess we have to decide on a direction here. So I guess these are friendly. Yeah, some guardians and some priests and people over here. And some centipedes that aren't out to eat us. I guess they don't mind if we're going in here searching through their junk. What does the priest have to say? The mites are absorbed in their work and pay you no heed. Okay, well. So I guess all of them are pretty much working. Our glory hero and his raiding spider fall whole and die. I know you. Greeting. Too weak, no catch one squirrel. Maybe they all dead? Our glory hero and his riding spider fall whole and die. Poor spider, pity. Okay, that's the one. Alright. So yeah, apparently the event of the spider dying in that gallant battle has reached the rest of the Mite tribe. Alright, so we have some more centipedes down here. Probably we'll be able to easily dispose of them. I imagine that it might take a critical hit for these centipedes to be able to touch one of our frontliners. In fact, I can go and check here real quick to see what their attack rolls are looking like on us. Where is the centipedes? Giant centipede attacks and misses. So yeah, with their modifiers, it's pretty hard to hit our guys. Even Harim with his lower AC is still at a really tough place for them to be able to hit. Okay, looks like we have more centipedes. Alright, let's get in there. Looks like we have another place that we can go down and explore. I guess Harim or someone had to deal with a fortitude save there, so I guess maybe he got hit. That already got hit for 1 damage. Okay. And she succeeded because she is a tough gal, that is for sure. So we can go down this way, but I'm gonna just explore everywhere around here first and find all that there is to find, talk to everyone that I feel like is well, everyone that we can talk to, I guess. Talked to the gate master already. We'll probably find the queen at some point and talk to her. For now, we're just taking care of lots of the feral animals that are down here. Alright, another scroll of Shield of Faith. And some more loot. This awful pile of garbage seems to be the Mite's sorting center. So I guess they just dump a lot of their loot, I imagine, that they get. And I don't know if they have raiding parties to raid people, or if they hunt, or if they just scavenge for things. But, yep, they just have a big old pile of junk that they just put in there and then they sort it out later, I imagine. I poke hollow old Sycamore and Queen say bad. Me punished now. So I guess he's punished to sorting through the pile of junk because he screwed up. Okay then. Alright, so this priest has also heard about the poor heroic spider and the rider that died. What about this one? Yep. Okay. So we have a scout that's been punished, some other mites that are lamenting their spider and rider. And then I guess this mite has also been punished. And I guess over here there's a waterfall. And there's some stuff down there, and we can see the rough outline of a kobold over there. So that's going to be interesting when we finally get over there. I imagine that it'll take a little bit to get over there, since they said that the passages are kind of closed off, so... I think we already went over here, I think, yeah. Yeah, so we've kind of come in a circle a little bit, but that's okay. We'll just keep on exploring. I think this is where we stopped at last time before we went back up to talk to the gatekeeper. So what's over here then? Looks like we have more mites. We have another sentinels over here. You know, greeting. Alright, so more spider pity. Oh, looks like they're also punished. A few crudely crafted torture instruments lie on top of an old crate. A few crudely crafted torture instruments lie on the top of an old crate, now a makeshift workbench. Okay then, so he's been punished to doing some, I guess, busy work, I guess, with this workbench. Alright, some more loot. I mean, this loot's actually pretty significant gold for us when we get back to the trading post, I imagine. Here's the bridge that there's the bridge that they were talking about that they pulled back up so that way the kobolds couldn't get over here. A wooden suspension bridge. Perhaps it saw frequent use back in days when the mites and kobolds were when the mites and kobolds lived in peace. Okay. I kind of wish that they gave you a bit more time to read the text of those descriptions. You know, sometimes you have to click on them again to be able to read them. Alright. I mean, the scenery in this game is quite good, considering. I still kind of wish that such a big game that weren't on Unity. Ally, come join us! But yeah, the Unity, I mean, it's a good engine. Granted, it's a pretty versatile engine, but for super large games, it does kind of cause some, you know, performance issues, and it kind of sucks up the CPU and all that. All the CPU usage on your computer kind of taxes it, probably more than it should, because an isometric RPG shouldn't really do that quite as much as other games do, in my experience. Alright, so we're going to quick save it because we have what appears to be a kobold here, a kobold prisoner, I imagine. And I guess we have some mite butchers here. I don't know what they're planning to do. Greeting, ally. We train aim. Best get reward. You play too, yes? Okay, so there's a option that you get if you're a dexterity-focused character. You can probably do that if you really want to, but I'm not going to do that. Obviously, I'm not a sadist or anything like that. Of course, far from it. So you can basically just say if you're going to take part in it or not, or if you're going to tell them just to back off. They're a prisoner. You know, something like that. You can't use a living creature as a target, even an enemy. Let them go and don't torment them any longer. The mites grumble, annoyed. You friend our beautiful queen. We listen you. We catch other kobolds anyway. Okay. No, don't attack. Jesus Christ, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, it shouldn't even give you the option to try attacking the kobold. I was trying to talk to the kobold before he left, but apparently it was going to have me attack the kobold. Yeah, I did not want to hurt the kobold. But we made a neutral good action, which I mean, it just befits the character that they don't want to just see people tortured for just fun and games, because that's, like if they wanted to still keep the kobold prisoner, then, fine. But we're not going to just let you go and torture everybody. So it'll go ahead and give you a log here of your alignment affecting decisions, and it doesn't go back too far. But one thing that it will do is it kind of gives you a general track of how your alignment has kind of shifted based on your dialogue choices. And so this is kind of where we're at right now. Obviously, we're not perfectly lawful good, because it's kind of hard to do that when the only options that it gives you in some situations involve chaotic good, neutral good, or lawful neutral is the closest options that you can choose. But yeah, I think that I think this is a fun way to play, personally. I mean, it's just the way that I like to play. Tabletop characters, I usually play them similarly. As far as making good aligned characters, they also tend to work best as far as groups and parties go. They have an actual reason to want to work with people, and they aren't loners. So I guess this is probably all we have to do over here, and then the bridge is right there. So we'll come back here eventually once we get the spider mandible for the gate master, the gates master might. Let's see, here's the waterfall again, and I imagine that the waterfall would look much better if our graphic settings were higher. Because, I mean, the scenery is generally quite good. You can kind of see even on the lower graphic settings how the water is just kind of flowing here. And I mean, as much as I would love to go and play the game on the higher graphic settings, one, it would tax my computer even more, and it's a bit of an old computer that I kind of need to upgrade a bit. And two, trying to record and use higher settings at the same time would be pretty difficult on my PC, I think, so have to just do it this way. But it is kind of funny, though, that there are still wild centipedes that the mites haven't taken care of yet, as far as either just killing them or taming them. They're just kind of running rampant in these caverns. Oh, we have more. Billy Mays is coming in here with, but wait, there's more centipedes. Alright, just save before every combat as per usual, and let's see what we got. Oh, we got more coming in from over here, so it's time for Alyrra to go ahead and get out her big sword and kind of cut them off for us here. I doubt she's going to last, and that was really bad. How much dexterity damage did she take? Holy shnikes! Took her dexterity down to 1. Okay. That was really bad. Yeah, we definitely do not want that to happen again. Yeah, that's really gonna hurt. Alright, so it's not as bad. I guess that was just because she was unconscious. Maybe that was why it was looking so bad and prone. So it did 2 ability damage to her. And we are going to have to rest if we want to restore her ability score to get rid of the ability damage. So that will affect her ranged attacks here, which is unfortunate, but we're going to just have to deal with it. This game would be even tougher if we were playing with it. Like, if you were playing without Companions Rise on End of Combat or whatever, companions rise after combat. If you were not playing with that setting turned on, the game would be a bit of a nightmare to trudge through, honestly. So I'm glad that I play with that turned on, just because it's, again, you know, in tabletop it might be different, but for a game like this, you definitely need that turned on. Otherwise, this is going to be incredibly difficult. You're going to have to reload your saves pretty often, because you're going to have to rest a whole lot. You're going to have to save, scum quite a bit. You got some more mites over there. Let's go over here first and see what's on this direction. But yeah, I just don't want to have to save and reload repeatedly and keep redoing combats that do not go as planned, and having to constantly rest, which has implications in game. If you constantly rest, then there are some timed events that you cannot do as well if you have to do that. And I think the biggest thing is that in tabletop, most of the times, or at least most DMs, will not just have enemies tanking opportunity attacks to get to the back line all the time. They'll tend to not try and tank them intentionally as much. In this game, they'll just tank them no matter what, and just not even care. So it looks like... Okay, so it looks like they're... Okay. Kobold think. So I guess these are booing... They're booing a comedian up here, it looks like. One kobold stand one more kobold, or two stupid kobold on each other. Ha ha ha! Kobold go tunnel and fall his own trap. Ha 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 ha! My flea choke better you. Kobold go past bush. See scale tail, poke it knife. Okay. Yeah, these are, I mean, they're bad jokes, but kobold steal catapult, not know what to. Shoot himself in wall. That was a slapper. Joke bad. Hit joker. How you know where kobold ambush? Ask. Kobold, you ambush? Yes? And then I assume he responds. Okay. Okay, boo! Okay. Kobold think they little dragon. Dragon think they little food. Okay, that one was actually pretty good. That was a good bad joke. So we have a comedian over here. I guess at least the mites have a sense of humor, which I assume the kobolds maybe not so much. So we found another token of the Dryad. I also think that this particular scene might also be a nod back to Fallout 2, which had a scene that was actually much similar to this. In one of the areas you can go to in Fallout 2, there's a scene where there's a comedian making jokes and all that kind of stuff, and he's kind of getting booed by everyone. So I don't know if it's a nod to Fallout 2 in some way, or if it's just inspired by Fallout 2 in that particular scene. But yeah, it's very interesting. Bad jokes, bad jokes. The mites have nailed window frames to the cave walls. There are landscapes painted behind some of them. I wonder if we can go up and talk to this comedian here and see what they're thinking. I guess we don't get the option to talk to him. Okay, well that's okay. He's in the middle of his routine there. So I guess they're mainly just making fun of the kobolds in this routine because of their recent conflict. I wonder what kind of bad jokes they would be making if they weren't at war with the kobolds yet. I guess there's a couple of things we were seeing in here. Oh, a ring. I guess it's just more loots for the most part, but we'll take it. some more hero worship going on over here with the spider and their rider. I guess that's all we can explore in this area. Pretty big map, all things considered here. I guess. Go down further there, and I guess we haven't explored over there yet. Nope, nope. I don't want to trigger any dialogues before I have a chance to know what I'm getting into here. So I'll quick save it in case there's like a scripted dialogue that happens when we walk into anyone here. And it looks like they're also being punished. Yeah, there are lots of mites here that are being punished for things, so I guess maybe the queen is just very, very strict with them. Looks like there's another priest and sentinel over there. I imagine that going through this area would be pretty tough if we had not sided with the mites, because there are lots of spellcasters and priests and stuff. You talk, queen. Queen no talk. We no let in. So I guess that's some kind of I assume that this is like the gate, the sacred gate or whatever that they were talking about the keys or the relics for or whatever. I mean, that's what it kind of looks like to me. Alright, time for a good old quick save. Looks like the Mite Priest is continuing to go ahead and say the same thing over and over there. Alright. Alright, so we saved the game. Let's go over here and finally talk to the Queen. Her Majesty, Warrior Queen Bada, welcome ally her chamber. And this is a seneschal talking. Just on time, my ally. Shaman Purple Hide pass vicious magic under our nose and run sacred Sycamore Hall. We have relic key. He have relic key. Kobold steal our relic. We can follow not. You help us? So I guess the kobolds are claiming that the mites stole their relic, but in reality, I guess it's the kobolds that were stealing their relic while the war was going on. How do I get to Sycamore Hall? My guard let you to door, but you need relic. They are two. One have purple hide. Where is second? I know not. Think kobold chief. Okay, so they're gonna go ahead and open the doors here, I guess, to let us go to the sacred hall if we get the relics. So if we get the relics, we can get into the sacred hall, I guess. How may I help you in your war? You defeat Chief Suitscale. I reward you generous. Kobold fools all. Without Chief, we win. I want myself cut his silly old head, but he not come fight. Maybe coward, maybe clever. Alright, I will try to reach the chief and see what can be done here. Forgive me, my queen, I must go. Brave be fight, and be not afraid to cut. Torture enemy. Oh, I'm not gonna torture anyone, but if I need to defeat the kobolds, then so be it. Hopefully it will not come to that, and I don't have to worry about, you know, having a big bloodbath on our hands. We want to try peace, if at all possible. Okay, so we're just going to go here. So I assume that we have the option of not killing Suit Scale. I mean, we told the Queen that we're going to do that, but I'm hoping that maybe another solution will present itself once we get over there to the Kobold area. So basically, we're just trying to get the Queen on our good side here and tell them, alright, we'll go over there, and if we have to kill them, then we will, but hopefully we won't have to. Okay. Alright, so that could be interesting against evil and chaos, so definitely interesting. The mites present their queen with the most valuable loot, along with the least broken junk. Yeah, because there were some other junk piles and stuff that they were using out there, which were just full of junk and crap, so... The tangled tree roots form a door, but there's no sign of a keyhole or handle. There should be another way to open it. So I assume that this door, I guess, we're going to have to go ahead and get those sacred relics, which I assume will not be easy to get. And once we get those, then we'll be able to go through there. So what's the map looking like right now? So I guess we can go over here to the depths of the Sycamore. Probably the next place for us to go. And again, I assume that this is not going to be an easy journey to get those relics back, but we're going to do what we can. And this seems to be the only way to go down. Alright, well now that we're gathered up, we kind of have to make a decision. Do we want to keep on going down, or do we want to perhaps take a rest first, so that way we have a better chance of dealing with what's down there? I think for now, we're going to try and keep going. Even though we're kind of battered up, Valerie, as long as she can stay going and alive, then we should still be okay. See if there's any other gear that I want to equip. You already have bracers of armor. She has magical armor. Don't know if there's any reason to keep any of this jewelry, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else we can really equip that's going to be prudent to any of our characters here. Rapiers, finesse wielding. But we already have a +1 dagger for that. And I guess eventually we might be able to use this dueling sword for our character. Alright then, well I think that's about all we can do here. So we're going to go on down to the depths and do the quick save action once more. And now we are going to go deeper into the depths of Old Sycamore. Oh, indeed, a good rest will remove being fatigued and exhausted. Good rest is always a good thing. Feels good to wake up from a good rest too. You'd be surprised on how different it is for someone just to be able to get a good night's sleep and feeling so much different. Because a lot of people, believe it or not, just really have trouble sleeping. I used to have lots of trouble getting to sleep. Maybe get only a couple hours of sleep a night just because it was just so difficult to get to sleep. Looks like we have more centipedes here. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the cowardly thing and I guess save it just in case things go awry. And I guess there's a hidden thing over there that we spotted. Okay, so now they're spitting acid at us, which I guess it was able to hit Valerie here. So I guess with that low AC that Valerie has, these are touch-based attacks, so that relies a lot more on things like dexterity and dodge bonuses or things like that to be able to avoid those. So now a pure AC tank with armor and shields are not going to cut it quite as much in these encounters, which is obviously very, very bad. For us, considering that we rely a lot on Valerie, but her touch AC isn't so great, so hopefully they're not going to whittle her down here. Alright, so there's nothing else prudent over there. We're going to go back over here and check this out. Alright, so we have a hermit over here. A mite hermit. Let's see what they have to say. The mite watches you angrily and hisses. Okay. So I wonder if there's anything to find over here in this pile of junk then. Everyone get over there and let's take a look around. Okay, so I guess there's not really much over here. I guess this mite just kind of likes being left alone, I guess. The mite hisses again, furiously gesturing toward the exit. I don't know if we want to kill this thing or not. I mean, we did just save it. Let's just see what happens if they get provoked. I'm not sure if we actually want to kill the hermit or not, but... Okay, and it just gets pissed off and attacks us. Okay, well... And he just ripped Valerie a new one, I guess. So apparently they just want to be left alone. Like, did they get like a critical hit on Valerie there? Yeah, so that's why they did so much damage. They got a critical hit and they had sneak attack. And normally it would have been a lot more difficult for them to be able to hit Valerie, I guess. Alright, so this calls for a quick load because I think that we were going to lose that. They got an actual 20 and sneak attack damage, which just took Valerie out in one hit. So that was a combat that did not last very long. So let's see what happens if we're able to beat them then. Alright, now that she's got fighting defensively going on, it's going to be a lot harder for her to go down. So I guess they have, or this hermit has damage reduction. So it's a lot harder to be able to take him down. But hopefully we'll get there eventually. Alright, so we just got a critical hit, I guess, and took him down. So I guess an exception to cold iron for the damage reduction, so... I guess they're an evil creature anyway. I guess they just wanted to be left alone, but... I mean, I don't blame them, but they still attacked us, so... We didn't attack them. So what do they have on them, then, that makes them so strong? A Wand of Bane, so I guess Harem can use that. Some less restoration scrolls that can be used by Paladin or Harem, I imagine. Alright then, I mean, I didn't want to kill them, obviously, but they did attack us, so... That's just the unfortunate reality that some people just lash out at you and attack you without really giving a care. And I guess that's why this area is kind of secret, is that the Hermit probably made it as secret as possible, made it hard for anyone to notice that, I guess. So yeah, I don't know if that's going to have any implications or not, so we'll just save it into a fresh slot here. I mean, I might keep that slot open just in case I want to go back and see. If I need to backtrack for whatever reason, I'll keep that previous save slot open. I'm not sure where this leads to. I guess that goes outside to the surface. Which isn't too bad, because if we need to rest, then we can just go over here and go outside to rest. Alright, so we got more of these. More centipedes, and I imagine that some of them will spit acid like before, which means I should probably target them first. Alright, well, we were able to dispose of them, so that's obviously good that we didn't take any more damage, much less this ability score damage like Alyrra took. Another big area here. Again, seems kind of ominous whenever there's a big area. You usually expect there to be something in here, which I guess there is. So I guess there's another puzzle over here with some plates. This room is surely the oldest, most forgotten place in the dungeon. The layer of dust lies thick as a blanket. Okay. What about over here? The inscription reads, "In praise of Taldor and the brave warriors of the 5th Army of Exploration, fallen but remembered in honor." Below is a date, year 2014, Age of Enthronement. I wonder if 2014 has... I'm not sure what... I guess that's probably has some significance in Pathfinder lore, maybe. I guess maybe it's just kind of a coincidence that 2014 in the real world is actually a fairly recent year. So I don't know if that's maybe a reference to something that happened in 2014 in real life, or if that's a Pathfinder lore type thing going on. Alright, so let's do a quick save here and see what this thing is. The stone plate returns to its initial position. Alright, so this is a puzzle of some kind. We have one plate over there. You cast light on yourself so that way we can have the area lit up here on 2 different fronts. I don't know why the light only goes in one area or the other, but I feel like it should be able to have lights on 2 areas at once. I don't think that's too much to ask for. But okay, so I'm not sure if we have to just step on both of these at the same time, maybe? Whoa. What is this? Okay, so I guess we succeeded a bit on the religion check here. So what's this? We have some evil undead here, so surely hopefully our Paladin will be able to do okay against skeletons. 5 damage reduction, that's pretty bad actually for us. We're gonna have to switch weapons here if we want to deal with them. So I guess you will go with the club. And I guess Harim can switch back to the flail here. And I don't know if there's any ranged weapons that use blunt damage. I doubt it. I don't know, maybe the closest thing in this game to a blunt ranged weapon is like a throwing hammer, maybe if one exists. Alright, so we're just going to have to accept that we're likely not doing a whole lot of damage to him, except for maybe the guys with the blunt weapons. I guess a torch does some bludgeoning, technically. Sadly, we can't use anything that isn't finesse wielding very well in melee. I don't know if a quarterstaff might do okay. I guess it's a monk weapon if we took monk levels, but we don't have any of that yet. I guess we could give it to Amiri, though, and let her have another weapon. So we'll give her the quarterstaff, and these guys already have some of their weapons going. Alright, so let's go ahead and again save the game here. I don't know how bad or good this combat is going to go. We'll switch you to a quarterstaff. We're just going to have to accept that our Paladin isn't going to do much in this fight. And then you guys have your blunt weapons going. Okay. Save it again so that way I don't have to keep switching Miri's weapon if we fail here. Alright. Oh, it looks like we have some more. So Amiri, or Valerie, you get in there first and try and draw their attention as much as you can. Amiri, let's wait on you two going in there until Valerie gets going. I want to go ahead and use Smite Evil, but I don't think it's going to do all that much for me. Though it does allow us to bypass damage reduction, it would only affect one target, so we're going to have to skip out on that for now. Alright, now let's go ahead and get in there since they're kind of ganging up on Valerie now. So we are getting in there. Yeah, the blunt weapons are helping us out a bit. Valerie just went down, though. And of course, it's only because they got a critical hit. Oh well. Alright, so we're probably going to lose this fight. I don't know if we're not supposed to take this fight, or maybe we just need some more health going for us. But yeah, we're definitely losing this fight, so let's just go ahead and do the quick load. There are going to occasionally be fights like this until we're about... I don't know, kind of similar to the Baldur's Gate game or the first Baldur's Gate game. Usually until you get to about level 4 or 5, it's going to be harder to win some fights just because you just aren't that high of a level yet. But let's try this again. I might use some more magic, or maybe I might use Smite Evil if needed. Okay, attack rolls and damage rolls. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we know the skeletons are evil, so Smite Evil will definitely work at least. Alright, and Miri, you stick back there. I might have you go ahead and rage this time. Might have you also cast Bless. How are we looking on... I guess we didn't get as much information about them as I might have wanted. But, okay. Let's go ahead and cast Bless. Have you get over there. So yeah, let's cast Bless, and then you... I guess can cast Grease to try and trip up these skeletons. You can't use Smite Evil on this one. Then you are going to rage and charge into this one. Alright, well she got him pretty good. Alright, so we have... Yep, so they're kind of going down kind of quickly here. Alright, so I think we're going to have to start the fight by pre-buffing a bit more if we want to win. Alright, so what do we want to start off with? Let's go ahead and get everyone over here and get them all in more better position for magic. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's also get Valerie back here so we can easily cast some buffing magic. It's time for us to go ahead and just pull out all the stops, so we're going to go ahead and do it. Don't know if there's going to be any saving throws necessary, but we'll go ahead and do that anyway. Okay, guidance. And then we're going to do this. And then I guess we want to go ahead and have her cast Grease. Let's just go ahead and fill this thing right here, this area, before anything even starts. And then hopefully we can trip up some of the skeletons and make it difficult for them. Let's take care of that. No, you just stay over there. You get over here. Nope, that way. Nope, that way. Jeez. Come on. Come on, come on, you guys. What are you doing? Oh, that did not go very well. Pathfinding, people. Pathfinding. you'd expect a game called Pathfinder to have better pathfinding in this game, but I guess not. I guess not. That can be an issue sometimes. Reem already went down. Alright, so I'm just going to try this one more time, I guess, and see if next time I'm going to hold off on my grease spell until the very last moment. Then I will cast it, and hopefully it will work. And so we are just going to go ahead and I'll just go and pause the video here. Or I'll just pause the recording, and then I'll come back when I finally buffed up for the battle. So I'll see you all in one moment. Okay then, so I've returned. I am now buffed up as much as I think will be necessary. And you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and quick save it now. Just might as well. This is probably a fight where we will need all of these buffs before we go ahead and take a rest. We'll go ahead and activate Destructive Smite, so that way when he attacks, he'll be doing that. Guess we'll quick save it again to make sure that we don't have to reactivate Destructive Smite every time. And now I think that we will go ahead and have you do your thing here. Let's see how well we can catch them all in a grease. And this time we are going to have a Miri in the front.
Yes. Yes.
All of you are going to hold your position except for Valerie here. She'll go up a little bit and try and engage them without stepping into the grease herself. Maybe kind of bait them into taking a bit more dexterity saves with the grease in that area. And then we are going to, once the other skeleton gets over there, we'll glitter dust a little bit. You do your thing with that. You rage and go after him. And you are going to smite evil. Valerie got hit again. Alright, so once she's fighting defensively, it should make it a lot more difficult to hit her. So you just need to go ahead and swing here. Alright, now she's got fighting defensively going. So what's her AC? So 29, I think, means that they should need to get a critical hit most of the time. Or 19 or higher might be able to hit. Alright, no, they'll need a critical hit, at least for that one, to be able to get her. Okay. And I guess Amiri slipped from the grease. Okay then. But so did the skeletal champion. And now you are going to get in there. So let's get in there. And let's go ahead and cast some glitter dust. And catch these skeletons. Let's try and focus them down a little bit here. Yeah, Harim didn't last very long there. So they're not doing too good on their reflex saves here. But they still did manage to get through. So I think we might need to go ahead and maybe drop a healing potion or two on Valerie and just have everyone else use ranged weapons because they're just not up to the task of not getting hit by these guys. I mean, it's going to be hard to deal damage too with not having blunt weapons, but This is tough. It's really tough to try and figure out how to best deal with these guys, because you don't really have any ranged options for blunt damage, at least not yet. And our spell casting, as far as damage options go, are limited if your main character isn't like a spellcaster, so... maybe Bane could go ahead and give him a penalty on attack rolls, at least. Yeah, I would give him a penalty on attack rolls, so it might be worth it. Let's have you all hold there. You also hold. Let's see how many healing potions that we have. I think we have quite a few by now. Alright, so let's have you go ahead and drink a couple. And then... I don't know if we want to bother with Harim and everyone else. Because ideally, like, Harim's probably going to go down fast anyway, and it's more about keeping Valerie alive, since she's the one that's kind of holding us at the seams with her frontlining ability. So let's quick save it once again. I don't mind using a few potions for that, even if we rest later. Because we're going to probably need Valerie to do some stuff for us if we want to win. But Grease seemed to be pretty effective there, so we're going to keep doing that.
Yes.
All of you hold. Alright, so let's have Valerie hold right there. Maybe somewhere like right on the edge of the grease. And now let's get in there. Let's try and take out this one. And we'll glitter dust in a way to where hopefully we hit all of them and we don't hit any of us. And we're also going to do Inspire Courage. We're going to rage and charge at him. Are you charging? Yes, you are. Okay. And then, I wonder if Bane... Oh, I guess that's an area from centered on us, so we want to get up closer before casting that. Alright, so Amiri got in there and smacked them pretty hard with the quarterstaff. Let's go ahead and Bane here and see if we can affect our attack rolls a bit. And then... I mean, I guess we can still use Smite Evil on this one. I think it's just about getting rid of that first one, then maybe we'll be able to take out the others. What else are we doing here? I guess he can True Strike and make it easier to hit this skeleton on the ground. Alright, can we get him? Come on, let's get him. Got him. Alright, so you're gonna go around this way so you don't go through the grease. And actually, I think what you're going to do is you're not even going to get in there at all. No more Destructive Smite. You're just going to go ahead and keep casting Guidance on Valerie to help her out here. You're just going to do nothing but help her try and hit him. No, don't. God damn you, Harim, stop that. I want you to hold. Hold right there. Don't do anything else. All you're gonna do is just keep guiding her, and that's it. That's all you do. Alright, so I guess while they're prone, that might be a chance to attack. Never mind. That did not last very long. There isn't much buffing magic that Lindsay can really do, so I guess we're just going to have to keep on plucking away here. I doubt we're going to get past the damage reduction of our ranged characters. I guess the only chance that we have the only chance to get past our damage reduction would maybe be with a critical hit. But they keep on failing their saves against Grease, which gives Valerie a chance to try and hit them. And now they're trying to head away towards our backliners here, so we're just going to retreat. Lindsay, you're going to be the sacrificial lamb here and go that way. Yeah, as you can see, she just went down like a sack of bricks because she is just not qualified to be able to deal with frontliners like that, so... So yeah, hopefully when we get a better AC tank on my character, they'll be able to have an easier time, or helping our front line out a bit more. Just getting the AC tank going, getting some good feats. Oh, there they are going again. Okay, well this time Alyrra is a bit faster than the skeletons are compared to Lindsay. I wonder how far it will go to try and chase. Alright, well it looks like the skeleton's going back now. And I guess Valerie's having a bit of a hard time hitting. Now they're both going after her. Okay, well... that's certainly not good. Yeah, this might be a fight that we're not able to take at this point. It just might not be doable for us right now. And we have a few characters that just aren't really able to contribute much in this fight. And see, they're always trying to go after the back line, and they just tank the opportunity attacks like it doesn't even matter, so... I mean, yeah, it's smart in a way to do that, but still, it's like... in tabletop, they don't really... enemies don't really tend to do that quite as much. Can we get him over there? Alright, so unlikely that we're going to be able to beat these guys. It's simply... yeah, it's just really difficult for Valerie to be able to hit. Fighting defensively and the tower shield makes it kind of difficult for her to be able to hit anything. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to bite the bullet on this one and just maybe accept that it's going to be difficult to be able to beat these guys at our current level and with our current gear. So we'll leave the quarterstaff on her. put the longsword back on you. And as much as I enjoy clubbing people over the head, we're going to go back to the... Where's the Masterwork Bastard Sword at? There it is. So yeah, this is just a fight that's a bit too difficult for us right now, so we're just going to have to accept that we can't fight them yet. And we shall have to come back later. Maybe if we level up one more time, which we're very close to doing, we might be able to go back there and take them. I guess we could go outside and rest, but after healing Valerie up a little bit with potions, I don't know if we want to do that just yet. Try and make a bit more use out of what we've got here. Okay. I want you to go ahead and switch back to your bow. Okay. Let's see, you don't need to be destructive smiting for now. Corridor type areas here. I guess technically West was still active for a little bit. Looks like an area for maybe mobility or athletics. Let's go ahead and look over here real quick before we decide. More skeletons. Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to fight skeletons at this point. We already had a rough time with the skeletal champions before. I don't know if we want to fight these, but we'll quick save it and see if we can give it a shot. I guess it might have been a better idea to switch out the weapons. I mean, I guess technically we can still do it, but and then you have a quarterstaff already, so we'll have you have to do a little bit of a switcheroo here with the weapons. We have 2 skeletal champions and some normal skeletons here. Miri, you rage, and see if you can beat the crap out of him while you're at it. You are going to glitter dust and catch all of them. You are going to grease and try and catch a lot of them as well. So yeah, we're catching some of the skeletons here, and that might be able to buy us some time and help us to take them out here. So all of you, and then you do that. And then we need to go ahead and, as much as possible, we need to try and kill the skeletal champion as easily the biggest threat. Reem already went down there, so that's unfortunate. And now Amiri. But if we can take out the skeletal champion, maybe we might have a chance. Oop, not the button I wanted to press. Yep, this is going to be difficult to take out skeletons at 2nd level. I guess you just switch to your short sword and hope for the best. Never mind. They're just going to run away and do that, and I'll do this. Come on, come on. Might Evil, I'm hoping that maybe we might be able to take out this guy. There's another skeletal champion over there. What are you doing? Oh, that's another... Oh, okay. Alright, Alyrra, you need to run out of there. Just kind of let her... Okay, well, there's... Apparently there's 2 more skeletal champions. We were able to take out one. Yeah. We took out one, but there's like 2 more, so yeah, I think that we're not going to be able to win that fight either at this level. Level 3, maybe? Perhaps? But yeah, we are ill-equipped to handle that, so... Unfortunately, we're going to have to go ahead and pass that up and do some other things here. So we can go outside to the surface, or we can go down here more. I mean, I'm sure there's like an alternate path over there, or maybe there's some more treasure or something like that over there, but we're just going to have to go ahead and deal with the path that we have available to us, which is this one. Yeah, that's just low-level tabletop. You know, there are some fights that are just going to be very difficult to win. It's a lot different in games where you have like guns and stuff, to where it's possible that you can just pick off people at range or target fire and hit people much more often at an earlier level, because they tend to be weak too. But yeah, we're already at this point encountering enemies that have like 25 AC and have like a +10 modifier to hit, so it's difficult for anyone other than Valerie to hold up at the front line. If they get to the back line, it's difficult. The kobold has been literally bitten in half, so whatever killed the kobold must be pretty tough if it bit it right in half. So it's a very ominous clue that something strong is somewhere here. What's this? There's a huge serpentine trail in the dust. Something very large crept through here. Alright, that's very, again, ominous. So whatever is through here, and I assume what we're probably going to fight, is something very big and very nasty. Alright, so we haven't encountered it just yet, but I assume that we soon will. Let's go after the ones that are attacking Harem first, since it's not quite as tanky. Alright, so apparently we've aggroed many more centipedes here. Harem, you just stick back there. All of you hold your position. What the heck? Okay. If you want to play that way, then you can play that way. Well, that's actually very interesting. Alyrra, with her acid resistance from being an Aasimar, ended up basically tanking that hit without taking any damage. Yeah, so the spitting acid centipedes aren't going to do anything to her. And there's a big centipede over there. Valerie is getting smacked upside the head. Let's go ahead and have you two move over here and try and help Valerie out a bit more. Well, Alyrra takes care of... Alyrra can basically tank that little one over there. So let's take out the big one. I don't know. Do we want to take out the big one, or do we just want to get rid of the spitting ones? I think let's just get rid of the spitting ones first. And you can do the same. Okay, so what happened here? Critical hit. And she got hit for 22 damage. And she's down to 4 hit points. Alright, so Valerie in a rough spot. So I think we're going to have to try this one more time. Let's see if we can... it's surprising that one was able to get behind us, even though I think we explored a good bit down there. I don't know how they could have gotten behind us, but maybe we should go down here and see if there's any more centipedes. Because I don't know how they could have gotten behind us, because there's no like path anywhere near there to loop around. At least not to my knowledge. Maybe there's some over here. Maybe there's like a hidden path somewhere that we're not aware of. We'll explore that in a bit, but I want to just make sure that there aren't any like centipedes coming out of nowhere to come get us. So yeah, I'm not sure what went on there and how a centipede was able to get behind us. I mean, I see that there's walls over here to indicate that there's room for something down there. But I bet that we have to take care of those skeletons to get down there, maybe. I don't know. So I guess this is just like a general hidden area, then nothing to fight. Alright. More loot, very nice. What's over here? Another coin. And then this. A secret sanctum, well hidden from prying eyes. So I don't know if this is like a mite. I don't know if this is a sanctuary for mites or kobolds or what, but apparently they have like the skull of something very big here that maybe they just... it's like a prized trophy of some kind. Or if they worship it or what. I don't know if it's like a dragon or whatever, but it's something very big. It's like this little skull here is like about as big as a humanoid. So I don't think there's anything else to find, so we'll just head back out. Okay, so I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't know how a centipede could have gotten behind us, unless there's just something that I'm not seeing here. Even on the map, I don't know if there's anything else that's going on over here that indicates that they could get behind us, so we'll try this again. This time maybe we can go ahead and maybe try and bait them into a grease spell and a choke point. So I'm going to go ahead and have them hold position. No, I don't want you to examine that. I just want you to do this. And then we're going to save the game. Valerie, you are going to get back over here. I just want to see what happens, because we aggroed a bunch of centipedes last time for whatever reason, and then one got behind us. So, Harim, let's not bother with you. No reason for you to get up in there. We're just going to leave you back here in case they try to go to the back lines. Then you can cut them off. Okay, so it just appears out of nowhere, like very spontaneous. I don't know. I don't know if I like that design decision. Like, it just appears out of nowhere. No stealth check, no perception check to spot it. It just kind of unburrows from the ground, I guess. And it's weird that centipedes all the way over there are being aggroed in our battle. I guess maybe it's some kind of warning system that they have in place to deal with that. Alright, so everyone, let's just get back. Let's get back and try and take advantage of a choke point. Alright, this is the time for grease. Let's see what we can do. Let's get it into a choke point. Maybe we might need to have it a bit further back here. And you two will hold position. You two will take some shots. You know what, Alyrra, you get in the front and tank their shots if you can, since you have the damage reduction to deal with that. And you just run and kite them. Not too far back though, we want to make sure that you get in there for the big centipede, I guess. So yeah, you can kind of see how the spitting centipedes, they're not going to affect my asthma because they have their acid damage reduction of 5 from the racial bonus. So that works out pretty well for us, because now Valerie isn't taking all that damage that she normally would. Let's see if... Alright, there it comes. So let's get you back there. And Valerie, you're gonna go over there. Oh, come on. Honestly... How much did you take? Alright, so you took 1. You took 3. That's not good. Okay. Now let's get in there. Let's see if we can inspect this thing and see if we... Guess we didn't inspect it all that well at the outset, so yeah. Alright, Valerie, let's get in there now. And you are going to use your destructive smite. Alright, so that's definitely not good. She needs to make a fortitude save to end that effect. Alright, we're gonna have to go and give this another try. Unfortunate, but you know what? That's just the name of the game, I guess. It happens, you know. And sometimes that is the name of the game. So we did pretty well last time, and then it was just the big centipede that got us. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording here and get a quick drink, and then I'm going to try and recharge for the battle. I'll see you guys in just a short bit. Alright, we are back, and now I'm going to try and give this another whirl. I don't know if there's much of a strategy that, much of a strategy that we can use. I guess when we're getting ready to fight the giant centipede, maybe we can have Harim, if he's still up, maybe use some guidance. Maybe to try and aid our attack rolls a bit. Maybe Bane might be helpful to reduce their attack rolls and likelihood of hitting Valerie. Then maybe we can use some Inspired Courage at the very end to try and help us. I don't think that these things are evil aligned, so I don't think Smite Evil is going to help. Maybe Glitter Dust could be a candidate to try and make it easier to hit. Maybe blinding them will end up being the difference. Alright, let's give this another try. Okay, let's hold them at the choke point here. I even think that Harim's just going to go ahead and use this composite longbow here. He hasn't been too effective in melee in these fights in particular, I guess. Another natural 20. Go figure. But she succeeded on her saving throw, and so she doesn't have to worry about the ability score damage there, which is sweet. I guess with the spitting centipedes are going to be a thing here real soon. We'll have Alyrra in the front to deal with tanking those shots first. Alrighty then. So let's get you back here, and then we'll have Alyrra taking the shots to the face. No, not Lindsay. Don't know where the big one is yet, but I just want to make sure that I can effectively deal with these things. Marine, you no longer need to fight defensively. Neither do you while we're just plucking away at them. If you just take all the spits to the face, and then we are going to try and deal with the giant one. Okay. Now that those are taken care of, let's get you switched back to your weapons here and fighting defensively. You don't need to fight defensively for now. Alright, so now Valerie, you need to get up there. Let's get all of you backing away. Okay. So technically we gained a level here, because the combat ended long enough, I guess, for us to do that. So let's save our game here. Quick save. I mean, we took care of the centipedes, so we might as well. So we took care of most of the centipedes. Now it's going to be up to dealing with the big one. So let's level up here and take the opportunity to maybe get a bit closer to dealing with that. Okay, so I don't know if we want to take another monk level, even though we do get the monk bonus feats, which can be helpful, but I think we want to go a bit more into fighter for now. because a fighter also gives us another combat feat as well as giving us burst barrier, so this will be of a nice help. And we definitely want to get the armor and tower shield training going, so that way hopefully at higher levels we'll have once we get up to the 5th level it'll be a lot easier for Valerie to go ahead and hit on her attacks. So eventually we might get that 2nd level in monk, since evasion could be pretty interesting. So I don't think that we're going to get tower shield evasion, but that's okay, because we'll be taking levels, and we can take levels in monk to get the 1st level of evasion, which is actually going to be pretty helpful, and then later on we can get her stalwart defender levels. So we're not really planning on getting these, but that's okay, because monk evasion will do just as well for the most part. And then for you, 1 more mobility will mean more fighting defensively AC, and then I guess a bit of perception might be in order. Alright, now back to back. Alright, so back to back can be a good teamwork feat for people that are fighting alongside her. Of course, you have to have other people take back to back as well, but when it comes to fighting groups of enemies with your own, if you're frontliners, if they have back to back or shield wall and things like that, they can mitigate being outnumbered and fighting against a lot of enemies. I'm not really sure if we need combat mobility. That's not too much of a help. Yeah, most of these things I don't think are going to be too much of a help. Shield focus could be good, since she's always going to use a shield. And we don't have... I don't think that we have heavy armor focus yet either. Toughness... dodge. Oh, we do have armor focus. Okay. Never mind. This is assuming that we're taking armor focus. Yes, this is the feat that we're taking now, and then this is the bonus combat feat. Okay. So yeah, we can go for armor focus. Maybe just do heavy armor focus. And then for the combat feat, we could just do shield focus or shield wall. Yeah, if we want to go ahead and have Harim be up front with her, and this would be better. But if we just want the AC all the time, shield focus will be better. I think we'll just go with shield focus for now and just focus on keeping Valerie alive at all costs here. Then eventually we might be able to get some things here like combat reflexes for more opportunity attacks. Maybe blind fight might help against invisible enemies. Back to back and shield wall can be helpful. Alright, so we're just going to get her some more AC here and do those. Then maybe a next level or two, maybe we might get her a teamwork feat. And then, do we want to do the combat feat? I think we do. I don't think that there's much going on with cleric levels for his cleric levels that are going to be tremendously important. think the bonus feat would be more helpful, and burst barrier will help his dexterity saves. And then after that, maybe we can consider going more into the cleric levels. And then we're just going to go mobility with him for fighting defensively. Then later we'll increase like religion and perception and such. Don't think that spell focus is really important for him right now. Later on it definitely would be, but for now he's sort of like a fighter cleric type frontliner. Not even sure what kind of weapon that he's using for now, so I'm not going to worry about weapon focus yet. Let's do the bonus combat feat first. Let's focus on heavy armor with that one. We don't need exotic weapon proficiency with Harim because he's a dwarf, and there are some exotic weapons that he can use because he's a dwarf. So we'll not worry about that. Again, later on we might get shield wall. Steel Soul could be interesting a bit later on. For now, I don't know if we need it just yet because we don't encounter too many spellcasters so far. So we already have shield focus, we have heavy armor focus, so I wonder if something like tough or dodge or something like that could be useful. Or I guess maybe, yeah, I guess we can't get dodge with him because his dexterity is way too low. So I guess it'd be between toughness and Steel Soul. Yeah, I guess maybe just giving him toughness might work better. Don't know if there's anything else that we need to give him. He has heavy armor focus, he has shield focus. Making him a bit tougher will probably just help out, get his hit points up nice and high. You are going to keep on continuing in Fighter, because I think that the going in Fighter is probably going to be more useful for Amiri. It's going to be difficult to kind of make her work with Barbarian levels. And I kind of like the direction of a two-handed fighter with her, because that's kind of what she does anyway. That's kind of like her bread and butter. I don't know, maybe later on we'll get her Uncanny Dodge and a Rage Power of some kind, but sadly the Barbarian levels just don't help her out all that much. She is kind of like a glass cannon with the Barbarian levels. See, athletics will be good for her. Definitely like nature and perception as well with her. Not sure if I care much about mobility because she's not going to usually be fighting defensively as a two-handed fighter. I don't know if I want to take like power attack or something like that. Some of these defensive bonuses could also potentially be useful. We don't really need extra rage. Don't really need that either. I mean, I guess we can go with power attack, and then this can unlock some other things here. Yeah, I guess we can just go with power attacking and cleaving through them. Not really focusing as much on armor class as just trying to tear through them. I don't know, maybe we can get... I don't know if her weapon has enough reach to try and attack from behind Valerie while she's in a safe spot. Or while Amiri is in a safe spot. We have her attacking with just a bow for now, but that's mainly just because we're low level and we're trying to do the most efficient thing while setting her up in the long run to maybe be a bit more of a frontliner. So I definitely think that we want to just get 3rd level Paladin, then eventually we want to get a monk level here for the Scaled Fist. I think once we get these 3rd level abilities we'll be good. Aura of Courage will be quite nice to be immune to fear and to help everyone else deal with it much better. A Mercy will be great, so that way our Lay on Hands will do some nice things. Sadly I only get 1 skill point here with the low intelligence, but we'll be okay. We're going to set mobility with 3 ranks, and then after that we're going to go into persuasion here. Don't really care about point blank shot, even though I'm using a lot of ranged attacks right now. So this is just a general feat, so I might go with something that's more non-combat here. So persuasive could be interesting. I don't know if there's another kind of don't know if there's another kind of feat that's more skill focused. Yeah, I'm trying to find... Well, yeah, this one I'll get later on at some point, but I'm trying to find... There's usually some kind of like skill-focused type feat where you get more skill points. Don't know if that's like only for certain races or not. Maybe I'm not finding it somewhere in here, but I think that somewhere they have some kind of skill focus type thing where you get more skill points that you can put into your skills, which could be useful. I mean, maybe because I have a low intelligence, maybe I don't have access to that kind of feat. Yeah, so there's lots of things that I don't have access to, obviously. So Deceitful gives you a bonus to trickery checks, I guess, which can be helpful like if you're a rogue type for persuasion and trickery. And persuasive is persuasion and perception. That might be a decent one. Oh, skill focus. There it is. So you're particularly adept at a skill. So you can gain the feat multiple times, but the effects do not stack with a single one. You have to choose a different one. So I don't mind doing skill focus persuasion since we're going to be using that quite a bit. And then mercy for fatigued. That's quite useful there, because we get fatigued pretty often when you're going on for an adventuring day. And so by just being able to use lay on hands to get rid of fatigued, you can kind of lengthen your adventuring day a bit more before you need to rest to get rid of fatigued. And it can also hold off the exhausted condition a bit longer when you do that. So now we're very good at persuasion here. And now it's time for Lindsay. I'll just keep going into Bard with her. And get the Inspire Competence, which will increase skill checks. And then she'll also get some higher level spells as a 3rd level Bard. You get mobility as well. Trickery will be helpful. Perception will be helpful, and then some of these knowledge-based things can also be helpful. We'll do Knowledge Arcana, since that's helpful if we want to get her certain, maybe prestige classes, maybe. Lendering performance will be quite great, so we'll be able to use her performance far more often, since we only have to do it for 1 round, then we can turn it off, and it'll keep continuing for 2 rounds after you sort of end it. So you get a lot more mileage out of your Inspire Courage, I mean. So you just use it for 1 round in combat, then you turn it off, and it'll keep continuing for 2 more rounds. You just get a lot more mileage out of it, so it kind of just, it essentially triples the amount of performance that you get and how much you can use it. So you can use it for more of the, I guess you could say it's for more of the common fights to try and end them quicker against common enemies and things like that. But in general, it just allows you to use it a lot more often, because the effect will linger after you turn it off, and then you can turn it on again to reactivate it, and you really save a lot of it. So I guess we're still on 1st level spells. I guess 4th level is where I would have to get 2nd level spells, unfortunately, but what do we have here that would maybe help us? It's not going to help. That's not going to help. And then creatures with... Yep, creatures with 6 or more hit dice are immune to it, so the strong enemies that won't really help with, and I imagine it won't help against... I imagine it's not going to help against, like, undead and stuff like that. That's probably not going to help too much. Interesting. Don't know if we might just want to go with Hideous Laughter, maybe. Hypnotism, probably not useful. Remove Fear could be useful, since I don't know if we're going to prepare it much with Harem. But I mean, combined with the Paladin aura, it would make it very difficult for... as far as like... Yeah, it has a 10-minute duration, so that's pretty good. So with the Paladin aura, it'd make it very difficult for us to succumb to fear effects. This is only 1 round per level. Oh, no, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and, I mean, Summon Monster could be good too for just common, like, cannon fodder, but I don't know if we want to get a low-level monster summoning spell. We might just go for a later level one. So let's just go with Remove Fear, since we might potentially be able to use that. We already have pretty good crowd control with Grease, so let's just go with Remove Fear. Vanish, we don't really need all that much because we have like potions and things like that. I think maybe that can use Vanish or things like that. So we'll just do Remove Fear. That seems like it'll eventually be useful for some fights. Alright then. I think we'll just save the game with a quick save here and hope to God we can kill this thing. So I guess you can have Power Attack and Cleave going. I honestly do not care. I think we'll just... I guess technically I can't really do Cleave much right now because she's wearing or wielding the bow. So let's switch you to this. And I think we'll be able to Cleave. Harim. Now that you have more AC, you might have you just go in there as well. And then Lindsay will be able to get more mileage out of what she's doing with her Inspire Competence. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can fight this. Remove Fear is going to go all the way over here. Inspire Competence. Let's get it going up here. I want to just go ahead and slide it on over. Don't think I'm going to be using Daze at this point anymore, so I'll just get that off of the list. So yeah, let's get Valerie in there. Let's get you in there fighting defensively and doing your destructive smite. And let's have you go ahead and cast a bit of Bane. Maybe I might have you get a bit closer before you cast it. You're going to Rage and charge in there. You're going to Inspire Courage. And you are going to Glitter Dust. Alright, so how much did she get hit for? Just 1, that's manageable. And did you get hit for anything more? No. Okay. Oh yeah, you're in melee, Mary, so you didn't get hit by that, thankfully. And then you're gonna use Bane to take care of that. I'm going to end that performance. And then we're going to try and just get this thing into Grease. Sadly, that giant centipede venom is doing a number on her. don't know if we have a potion for that or not. It would be nice if we do. I don't know if we have like anti-venom potions or anything like that. We have lesser restoration potions. Pretty expensive potion though. Maybe a scroll would be better since it doesn't cost as much. Yeah, I guess we can try this. Maybe see if lesser restoration will help if I need it. Not going to be doing much else anyway, so let's try it. See if we can get rid of the ability damage here. Alright, and she was successful. It didn't end the venom, though. That's unfortunate.
Yes.
Alright, so we're able to kill it. Sadly, the venom is still going, and I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know, does lay on hands do anything against it? I don't have any uses of lay on hands, so that's not an option. Do we have anything that can deal with this? Any spell? Any spell at all? I don't think we do. I do not think we do. Looks like this is a recipe that we found earlier. Yeah, I remember picking this up, so I might as well just go ahead and learn it. And shepherd's pie is quite delicious from what I understand anyway, so might be worth making some of that sometime. Okay, so Lindsay's just going to have to grin and bear it, I guess, and deal with whatever ability score damage that she gets. I guess lesser restoration at this point won't really make much of a difference. Just kind of have to wait for that duration of that poison to run out. So she has some ability score damage, but it's manageable at this point. So as we rest, after we rest a few times, that will eventually go away. But thankfully she's not a frontliner, so we don't have to worry too much about that. How much experience did we get? 144 for killing the big centipede. And Miri, I guess, got a little bit of information on the centipede. Super strong and super tough. And it was neutral, so it wasn't evil like I thought. So like I thought, it's not evil aligned, so the Smite evil wouldn't have worked on it. Okay. And so at least Amiri here, we have her in a position to where at least offensively she's going to be doing some things here. I'm going to have to wait for her to charge in after Valerie aggroes things. And we'll just go ahead and quick save it here since we won the battle. I don't want to have to go through the battle all over again. Even though we did take ability score damage, I would rather not have to deal with going through the battle again. I don't know if something's going to happen if we try and walk in there. I guess we can't walk in there. Oh, more of these. Yeah, we want Valerie to get up there first, please. You get out of the way, please. And then all of you get in there. Kill that one. Okay, then. So apparently we didn't kill all of them, but we killed quite a few because we took care of the giant centipedes, so we must have killed a lot of the hive here. Alright, and so there's more of the description there to let you know there's something very big and nasty going through there. And let's kind of get our formation a little bit more separated here. So that way Valerie is clearly in the front. Okay then. There we go. Ah, more centipedes. Okay then. Well, I'm very glad that we have this hearty meal saving throw bonus for us, because it's helped out quite a bit so far. Miri, you get the heck out of there. Let's turn off those. I think we just need to switch back to ranged weapons for you, because we have spitters that we have to deal with, and I don't want to have to deal with them anymore. Valerie and Hareen here are good enough at fortitude saves, so I don't have to worry as much about them failing a save. Maybe against more melee-focused enemy types, Amiri will end up being able to have a bit more success going in there. The ranged weapons and attacks are going to do a number on her. A great battle between kobolds and mites took place here. It seems impossible to tell who won. Yep, well, it looks like a battlefield. And I guess the centipedes here are just kind of picking away at the pieces, I guess. Guess there's something over here. Another ancient coin. Alright. Exploring more of the cave here. It's yeah, definitely very dark. And again, I wish that you could handle light from more than two sources at one time with the Aasimar Halo and the light spell. Just I mean, I feel like they should be able to do that, the developers, I mean. So we have that over there. But we want to go ahead and then finally explore the area vacated by that giant centipede, I think. Don't think that there's anything over here. Just want to check real quick. Yeah, we came from over there already. Okay. So we want to check out what the giant centipede has in its treasure hoard, if it's like a dragon at all. Don't know what these are, but we're going to stop. They look very different. More centipedes. Let's get Valerie in there leading the charge. Take care of the spitters and ignore the melee ones. Alrighty. So over here, the taproot of the old sycamore. It was from here that the seed of the giant tree once sprouted. The taproot, okay. Interesting. So that must have been, I guess, the origin of Old Sycamore, where it originally sprouted up from, and then it expanded into everything else, I guess. It's like an outer shell. Or an outer shell, I guess, maybe. Another hidden area over there. Another hidden thing here. More dryad stuff. And yet, what a surprise! More centipedes here that need a good beat down. Alright, Valor, you get over there and take care of the spitting one. Yeah, for the most part, these centipedes here, they're not really hard to beat. It's the bigger centipede that combined with all the smaller ones that would give us trouble. I guess there's more, again, more centipedes. I guess it's not really a surprise at this point. And that looks like it would be the giant spider that we're supposed to find for the gatekeeper. Along with that, we found another fragment of the necklace. And some water over here. Not sure if there's anything in there, but I guess our animal companion was going through there, and you kind of see them diving in there. And then the recipe for jeweled rice. Interesting. So let's copy down that recipe while we've got it. I'm not exactly sure what jeweled rice is. I mean, I know that it involves cooking rice, but like shepherd's pie, I'm more familiar with what it actually looks and tastes like, so. What's this over here? The dark waters of the underground lake provide no hint to their depth. So I guess there's an underground lake that I guess fuels Old Sycamore, since it's a really huge tree. So I guess it kind of makes sense that maybe there's a bit of water going on under there. And then there's the mandibles of the huge spider. And that is what the gatekeeper wants us to grab for them. So once we take care of that, we shall be able to have them pull down the bridge for us, or we can pull down the bridge with the lever that they give us, and then we'll be able to explore a bit more. What's over here? Wonder if we're going to find even more centipedes. Just the other signs of something huge going through. So I guess, yeah, so I guess there's like an alternate route over here to where you can come from the north. And I guess there's some loot that we forgot to get down there. So yeah, there's probably like an alternate route up there that you can come down here to. And then that description there is to give you a hint, going through the alternate route, that there's something very big. And it looks like there's a poor soul that's down here. Oh, a paladin's crumpled helmet, and then a light pick. Let's see what we got here. We have Agile Light Pick. It does quite a bit of critical hit damage. And is finesse wielding. Excuse me. So I guess an agile weapon will give it the finesse trait, which is quite nice. And you can use your dexterity modifier for the damage rolls. So we're gonna get the feat anyway at some point that allows you to make damage rolls of your dexterity modifier. But if you don't have the feat yet, the agile light pick can be very good in place of that. Unfortunately, it's a martial weapon, and so I guess a bard can't use a light pick because they only get some martial weapons, not all of them. We can use it though, and then we can give the dagger to Lindsay. So we're going to give the cold iron dagger to her, and then we're going to have the agile light pick, which will do... Well, I guess it doesn't calculate the damage properly because it's not taking into account the agile traits, but it should definitely do more than 1 to 3 damage when it's equipped, because it'll use our dexterity modifier for that. And then where's that one Paladin helmet? Would it be down here? There it is. This item once belonged to an ancient Brevin. An expert in antiquities may find it interesting. Alright, so my character would definitely have some interest in finding out what that is, or if it's just a piece to a bigger artifact of some kind. Let's see if we can find anything else over here. Maybe a perception check of some kind. Well, we did find the agile light pick, so I think that's good enough for loot. Considering that it's something our paladin can actually use somewhat effectively, I'll consider that a win. And then I guess we can go up here to the north a little bit and see if there's anything else up here. Looks like we have some giant frogs here. Looks like another opportunity for a quick save if we get ourselves into a battle. Looks like reasonably strong. I'm not sure if they'll be tremendously difficult to beat, but we might just use Inspire Competence here, or Inspire Courage to help us out. And then we are just going to attack. Attack, attack, attack. Valerie, you get over here and kind of cut these guys off from wanting to smash us in the face. Let's target fire here. Target fire, there we go. And then maybe we can get you in there with your strength instead. And start cleaving some of these guys. Let's have you go after that one. Okay. Alright, so the fight's going pretty well for us so far. I'm going to save the last bit of Inspire Courage there. Offensively, Alyrra is doing quite well here. Because when Alyrra can connect, she can usually deal a lot of damage Alright, we'll do a quick save in case this is a lock-picking scenario. It is not. We find a golden toad. So I guess this is like a religious idol of some kind. The sunlight managed to find its way into the dungeon, creating this island of life. Okay, well, I guess it's, I don't know if it's like a... I wonder if like water and rain finds its way down there too. It kind of helps this life stem within a tree. It's like a tree within a tree, you know? Another dryad token there. And so we're finding lots of pretty good loot that when we can finally talk with someone about it, or talk with someone over all the loot that we found, it'll be a nice bit of, well, conversation, obviously, and some background dialogue on these things, but also we'll end up hopefully finding enough pieces of these artifacts to be able to get some interesting items out of it. Is there anything else we can explore? I guess we can go over here. Something that we haven't explored yet. Have them run as fast as they can to get over there. I know that over yonder and over yonder were the skeletons, which maybe if we were at full strength, rested at level 3, maybe we might be able to handle them, but for now, I think we're just going to keep on continuing here. Where does this go? To the old Sycamore Caves. Alright, let's... you know what? I think this is probably a good stopping point. We're, I assume, maybe about halfway through the Sycamore Caves. But yeah, this is a good stopping point. We've been playing for quite a while now, and so it might be appropriate to go ahead and give our computer a rest, give my brain a rest, give ourselves a chance to recharge for the next episode, where hopefully we'll be finishing up the caves, finding more about what's going on here between the kobolds and the mites. And we'll get the bridge drawn down for us when we talk to the gate master again. And again, hopefully at some point we'll learn more about these artifacts and stuff that we're gathering up in our inventory and hoarding a bit. But that'll probably be something more in the distant future than anything that we will experience right away. So it's something to look forward to sometime down the line. But yeah, thank everyone for joining me and for being patient with these long episodes. It's just my style of play in an RPG. It's hard to just cut yourself off at a certain point. You like getting through, like completing certain areas and meeting certain milestones, I guess, before you decide to put a break in the episode. But I appreciate everyone that's decided to join me for these lengthy episodes and enjoying my commentary and reading everything and doing the dialogues. And joining Alyrra for the journey and playing things in, I guess, a more, you know, good-aligned Paladin-like manner. So I appreciate everyone for joining me, and I hope that you all join me next time for this Let's Play of Pathfinder Kingmaker, and hope that you all take good care of yourselves and have a wonderful day. Take care.